Boyfriend says I am disrespectful in certain settings. F31 M31 I would love married couple insights. My boyfriend M31 says I F31 embarrass him in public when it comes to men. We were at Home Depot looking at white paint swatches and an older guy comes up to us and says he painted a lot of houses with a certain white. I said oh really, and picked up the swatch to add to our collection. The guy then proceeds to talk to us about the colors and my boyfriend said because I maintained eye contact with the man that's usually an indication that I sleep around a lot and it's embarrassing to him and that's not how a wife should conduct herself. Today we met with a business partner of his who he told me to contact to set up our meeting. I've been calling the guy getting everything together for us. We go to his house and while him and my boyfriend are having a convo I look at my boyfriend a majority of the time or play with the dogs that are there. Occasionally during the convo the guy would try to make sure we both felt included in the conversation. Eventually they both sit on the sofa across from me and while they are talking I still try to mind my business as much as possible, rarely ever saying a word or giving the guy any eye contact. Once we leave my boyfriend says my body language was too inviting and I should have been on my phone, that had no service, or I should have directed my body towards the wall. Is this what men expect of their wives? Because usually when he is having a conversation with guys, even his own family members, I walk out of the room or wherever I can go. In this case we were in the man's living room. Run. That behavior is only going to get worse. As someone who has been married for nearly 40 years, I assure you this is not normal. Our partners do not get to tell us how to exist in the world with men. He has some deep and ugly beliefs about how women are responsible for the shitty behavior of men towards them. If he isn't willing to work on that and his pervasive insecurity, I'd be out. No, to all of that. He tries to tell you how to behave, even where you look. I'd be embarrassed if my spouse went to a gathering with a colleague and spent the whole time on their phone. None of these things are indicative of your sexual intentions towards anybody, and if your boyfriend sees it that way it's a major red flag. This shows you how he thinks about and towards women. He doesn't want a partner, he wants a doll. Leave him. Get out now. He is a controlling asshole and it will only get worse. Married 24 years. Just break up already. That's not far off the Taliban's current policy. I am AF50 and went on a weird date with AM59. Hi, Canadian girl here, 50-year-old female. I am in the USA for 6 months and am single, so I was a bit lonely and decided to try Tinder. I found a guy the first liked and we matched and texted, then talked on the phone and everything was going great. He sent me lots of pics and I sent him pics to which he liked. After 3 days of all these texts I am like, let's meet for a drink to see if we connect in person like we do on the phone. We set a place and time. I go to the bar 10 minutes early because I'm nervous and order a glass of wine. The bar is pretty empty except for 2 guys directly across the bar from me. One of the guys I find attractive and he is looking at me. I try to avoid looking at him because I'm waiting for my date. Our meeting time comes and goes. 30 minutes later I am still sitting there alone. The 2 guys come over to me and say you look like an angle. The sunlight was behind me making my hair almost glow. We start talking and they are both very friendly. I explain that I think my Tinder date has stood me up. The attractive guy, 59-year-old male, says oh that's too bad, can I buy you a drink and dinner? I say thank you, okay, one more drink, but I'm not hungry, so we sit and talk for a couple hours more. Mind you, I had texted my date and no response. I am feeling pretty happy that this hot guy is talking to me and he jokes that we should take a pic together and send it to the guy that stood me up. I laugh and say that's mean, and I wouldn't do that, but I am having a good time. He asks if I would like to go out with him sometime and I say yes. We did have a kiss when I left and phoned him the next day for a talk. This time we aren't just joking around, we are talking about our lives and he has this interesting story. He's a very charitable guy and donates toys to kids. I have done toy drives in Canada, so we have that in common. He had one kid that he felt sorry for. She had a bad upbringing and was in foster care and he now takes her out once in a while to arcades or fun kid places for a treat. I feel like this is kinda strange, but okay. He also says he wants to adopt her once her foster parents pass, they are older. I also think this is strange, but whatever. He asks me if I want to go on a play date with them. I.e. go to an arcade, then maybe go to Target and get Legos or a puzzle. I love Legos and doing puzzles. So it sounds fun to me, I say yes. We had talked about other things as well, like things we would like to do together, like play pickleball and our preferences in the bedroom, pretty standard stuff. He does have a weird situation though. He rents a small poolside studio that has a shared wall with another renter. Because of this he never has intimacy at his place because he doesn't want to be disrespectful to his neighbor with loud noises. So he will take girls he's dating to a nearby hotel. Now I'm thinking, well, this just keeps getting weirder, but I kinda get it because I am staying at my girlfriend's place down here and out of respect for her I don't have guys over. The walls are thin here too. So in my mind all I can think of is this guy must be spending a lot of money at this hotel when he gets a girlfriend. He did brag that he makes a lot of money though, who knows if it's true. So playdate day comes and he picks me up. The little girl is adorable and we chat for the entire ride. He doesn't say much, but we did talk a bit about doing future excursions together, like going to a water park or mini-put would be fun. We get to the arcade that they frequent. I can feel the vibes are off completely. He hasn't really looked at me or spoken to me much and even is almost avoiding looking at me. He is not a drinker, one drink is his limit, so he was sober when we met and I had sent him texts with pics of me, so he defiantly knew what I looked like. On our first meeting we did hug when we kissed also, and I was wearing a revealing dress. So I am like, what is going on here? But I don't know him, so maybe he's just quiet or uncomfortable or something. I just smile and try to have fun even though it's weird as shit. Eventually we sit down for a break and a drink and the little girl is allowed to run around where we can see her. Now he has the talk with me. He doesn't want a girlfriend. He has another girl on the side that he is unsure about, I guess about dating her. I am silent and just listen. He has made up his mind and he will never be interested in dating me, but he's okay with just being fun friends, if you know what I mean. I am kinda in shock. He's the one that came up to me at the bar. He asked me out. He made this date and plans and now he doesn't want to see me again unless it's just for sex? At this point I told him sorry, I'm quiet, I'm just processing, to be honest kinda laughing internally at this crazy situation. He then proceeds to tell me that if I want I can go on my phone and book the hotel for the night. Yes, he wants me to pay to let him have sex with me. I think my eyes almost popped out of my head. In between our conversations the little girl comes up and gives the heart signal to us and tells him he should marry me because then he can adopt her easier. I've never felt so bad in my life, how can he do this to her? I find out he has taken 2 other girls on dates with her to the arcade. It must be very confusing to this poor little girl. I end it by saying no thank you to him, I am not interested, and tell him I'm calling an Uber and I leave. That's it, I deleted his number and am done. I just felt the need to write it out and confirm how strange dating can be, or maybe it just me. I never heard from the Tinder guy that stood me up, delete. Groan. Yikes. I wonder if he's the original Tinder guy too? Trying to get a one-up on you cause he knows you've been stood up, so will be more vulnerable, open to manipulation? Whole thing screams danger. Glad you got out of it okay. You might want to let the agency know that he is doing this. Like you said, it's not good for the kid. I don't think that she is a foster kid. I think it's his actual kid and he created this bizarre story. I also don't think he has or ever had a lot of money. Just seems like a 59 years old, loser single dad. I hate guys like this. They ruin it for all of us recently single guys that actually want to find a real relationship again. You are not alone in the dating experience though. I have heard from almost all the women I have talked to that creepy guys are everywhere. I have no advice on how to avoid them, but there are good ones out there too. A reason you don't find them easily is that they are taken rather quickly. I have already paused my search as I focus on one at a time. This guy is not making good money for sure. If he is, he wouldn't be staying at a rental pool shared apartment and asking you to pay for the hotel room. And he's using this young child to manipulate your emotions to get you to pay to have sex with him. I think this may have worked with another woman. So he's going with that one but still likes to try other women, and that's why you're there. So he's not charitable, selfish, poor, and manipulative. Good you delete his number. I never heard from the Tinder guy that stood me up. Yes, you did. I, 23F, have been asked to give my boyfriend, 27M's family Christmas gifts. He and I have been dating for 2 years. He's not a gift giver. Last Christmas there was no gift. This Christmas he paid for my plane ticket to visit his family. That's wonderful, yes, but when I brought up when gift exchanges would take place, he asked why I was anticipating a gift. Look, I don't care about money or gifts. I lost my job in November and money is tight. I'm not even getting my own family anything and they understand why. On top of making sure I get him something, now I need to get several other of his family members something. Whom I've never even met. They're welcoming me into their home and I'm grateful. I do not know these people. How would I know what to get them? And why would I when their son doesn't even get gifts for me? My one and only problem is I want to avoid the crushing heartache last year's Christmas brought, when I arrived gifts in hand, expecting a card or nice letter at the very least. It's Christmas, man. It could be a cool rock you found outside, but don't make me look like an ass. Also, to see his family, I'm not seeing mine. So sacrifices were made. We live far away and never got the chance to introduce everyone, so meeting them was important to me. My boyfriend has a habit of taking advantage of me. We are in therapy and our relationship is truly mending. But this seems like it'll inevitably become problematic. If he's not getting you anything, why are you getting him something? I wouldn't. As far as his family, which I'm not sure, I go with his attitude, something small, as a hostess gift. A Christmas ornament, nice cookies, a bottle of wine if they drink at all. Doesn't have to be expensive. If you want to say thank you for hosting. If other family members aren't giving you gifts, not sure why he thinks you should buy for them. Tell him you don't have the money, end of. We are in therapy. UKW, what's cheaper than therapy? Your relationship is not mending and he is STLL taking advantage. Number 2-year relationship needs therapy. Why do you feel obligated to get presents for his family? That is not the norm typically. He crushed your heart last year and will again this year and expects you to give his family gifts. What the hell is therapy fixing? You are not obligated to get gifts for people when meeting them the first time and the first Christmas all rolled into the same day. Tell him if he wants gifts given to his family he needs to go shopping. Don't be embarrassed to tell his family that your Christmas present from him was your plane ticket and other than then zip, squat, nothing else. He deserves the judgment he might get from his family for not doing more. Any gifts given to his family should be joint gifts paid for by him. I, am 26, have been finishing embarrassing fast with my wife, 27F. This is weird talk about, but I've been with my wife for 5 years and when we first got together we would be intimate constantly and it was great for both of us. Around 3 years ago we showed down a lot and then I noticed if it had been too long between each time that I was now bad about holding it, and I felt really bad. It hasn't really been an issue since we do a lot of foreplay, but I feel like my confidence has gone down considerably after I started having this issue. It is really embarrassing to me despite her saying that it makes her feel good because that must mean I'm good, but still. When we started our family, it was planned. We did have sex up until her being 4 or 5 months when I felt weird about it. But after that we went nearly 8-10 months, I wasn't keeping track, due to her finishing pregnancy and then a subsequent personal tragedy with losing our son to SIDS at 2 months. We were both destroyed for several months and after talking about it we both deeply desired to be parents and started trying for our daughter. She turned 1 last month and though me and my wife have been intimate it seems every time we try to do actual PIV I can't control myself and it the same as when we didn't do it much but even worse. I know this is a whiplash but still, how do I relearn how to control myself during sex so I can better satisfy my wife and make sex more enjoyable? I deeply love my wife and though we don't really have any current issues I don't want to build resentment or make her feel bad. Too long did not read. I do. Come to femaleist. Bro, sex is more than just penetration. Eat that pussy right. Finger her, tease her, eat her until she's on the edge of sanity, begging for you to be inside her. Clear those pipes earlier in the day. It'll buy you another 5-10 minutes. The answer is training. Masturbate until you are near the point of exploding, then wait for the feeling to subside. Then get close again and stop just before you feel the orgasm is about to hit. Repeat until the session is at least 15-20 minutes long, then release. Do this on your own at first, then practice with her as well. This is a mind-body connection thing, and it can absolutely be trained. That sounds painful for you. Thanks for sharing and being vulnerable. 1. I don't think this is the case but I always have to ask. Are you jerking off to pornography at all or on any mental health related medications? Once you verify that the answers to number 1 are no, I have some steps to get you back in control of your orgasm. My boyfriend finishes quickly as well. I can tell he doesn't like it but I do. Makes my ego huge, let me tell you, ha ha ha. I think if your girl isn't unhappy, don't make it a huge deal. It seems like it bothers you a little but if you're focusing on making her finish and making it fun and enjoyable for you both then I'm sure you're doing great and she loves it. Just have more sex. You need more training to be good at it. Simple as that.